Every morning I wake up and wonder if this will be my last day breathing, because someone I know is killed every other weekend. You could be running an errand or just hanging with friends, but being at the wrong place at the wrong time could make your life come to an end. That's how it was for many of our homicide victims. On a path to success with no knowledge, an intruder would erase their wisdom. Roxbury is known as Glocksbury. The littlest guys even carry guns. From Warren Street to Humboldt Ave, the killers wonder where you're from. So don't scream the wrong place or you'll be swept off the street without a bro. That's why I keep busy with work and school. Had to leave the streets alone. It just wasn't cool. And the same goes for my boy Jamal Norfleet. Started a truce to end the war he faced on the street. The beef halted for a while, thought it all died down. A few months later, and Jamal was gunned down. Most of my friends who were murdered shared a specific thing. We all grew up with hoop dreams. The dream that we would all play pro basketball. From AAU days to being BL championships. Who would think a bullet would stop that goal? Little V from the Gardens and L Bug from 915 were both members of my team. Now Charles never played on my team, but we shared gym at OB High together, so it was a shock to hear he was murdered by the beach weeks after graduation. When York was killed, I thought it was a joke. After all, it was the morning after April Fool's. He was a flashy dresser with a jump shot like Dirk Nowitzki. Well, almost like Dirk. Maul had a jumper too, with defense like Gary Payton. York and Maul's talent helped me win up my career. The depth of these two men hit me hard because I knew them since age 9, playing ball at Charter Park. Spill from the Hill was a baller who kept it real. A true competitor who didn't back down during our Curly middle school days. It was a shock to hear the friend who introduced Averex jackets and Maurice Malone jeans was gunned down in his own hood. Going to Hyde Park High for my senior year linked me with a good friend and teammate. Kev Greens played the shooting guard while I played the point. Our connection on the court was a tandem to mess with. Graduating a year before him, I knew he had a promising future. When one of my former classmates told me he passed, I was in disbelief. Why are all my friends dying? It makes me wonder if I'll be the next one. I play basketball, live in the inner city, and a flashy dresser. The good die young, but like Kev stated, I'm not in that category.
As a child, I remember playing in the streets without worrying about the crime in Roxbury. I live in Roxbury, where the kids hold the Glocks heavy and try to live steady. As I grew older, I opened my eyes and realized how much violence was in my hood. Most of the time, I didn't worry about the crime because I was asleep. Not asleep to where I'm catching Z's or counting sheep, but asleep to the violence that was going on around me. Growing up in Roxbury was a struggle for me and a lot of my friends because of all the murder scenes and the drug abuse we saw. At first, we paid no attention to the violence. We just seen it as an everyday thing. We laughed and joked about those kind of things before until it affected us in a traumatic way. We lost a loyal soldier due to the violence in Roxbury. It's impossible to live a straight path when every other day one of your boys is getting clapped in his back. Or they could even get shot for walking on his own block. Have you ever heard of the saying, the good die young? Well, if you haven't, believe it, because it's true. Every time a young teen tries to do well, they're always the first one to die. It sucks for my squad and I, because that soldier, he was not only just a friend, but a brother as well. His name was Kev Greens. Rest in peace. Kev was murdered in Roxbury, gunned down right around the corner from my house. Every day, I walk by his memorial and bless it.
gone, my name live on like Eazy-E.
Before he died, he was on a path to success.
I ain't gotta worry, I'm born to success.
Kev was the first one out of our group to get a high school diploma. He was also the first one to think about going to college. You think you living all good, working full time and going to school like you should. If he had lived, things would have been a lot different. But because of his death, it brought all of us friends closer together. We see each other like family now, and not just boys. If you ever lost a family member or a close friend, they will tell you that it's not easy seeing a loved one laying in a box. It hurts deeply inside, but unfortunately life does go on. There was one thing I learned, and that is to cherish life every second. Live your life to the fullest every day and enjoy it as much as you can.